Hi, let's see who we're doing next. Taurus. Taurus, it's your turn. I don't know how I lost that. Taurus. Welcome to your Samhain read. This is going to be a year ahead predictive read for you. It's going to be from November 2025 through to October 2026. Please check your rising moon and Venus sign for additional messages. We have a format this year. I've been doing this reading I always did this reading for myself on Halloween. I decided a few years ago to incorporate it into my readings that I was doing for other people. So let's do it. We're going to do a song, then the major arcana. We're going to shuffle around. Then we're going to clarify. We'll finish it up with some magnetic poetry and then the oracle message for you from the Rebel deck. And then we'll do like some numbers and stuff like that. But let's go ahead and let's find out your song, Taurus, for the year. It's kind of like a thing that you know, it might be a running theme for you. Let's find out. I only take flippers and jumpers. You can check the description box for everything you need to know. I'm not going to waste my time talking about that. Right? Time. Time is a currency. Like you cannot get a refund on. Okay. Wow. It's like a Spotify shuffle. The whole thing here. Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode. These are all good songs. Torch from the Sky by Blacklight Burns. Morning Glory by Oasis. Followed by Climbing Up the Walls by Radiohead. Okay. Seems like there's just a lot of air and water here. Because I do have these, you can't really tell because when I did these, I did have them color coded, but there is water and air in these. So those are your songs. Your theme for the year, we're going to do with the Major Arcana Tarot by the Deftones, or Deftones rather. I've already pre-shuffled all of the decks, but for the purposes of YouTube, we will continue to do so on camera for you. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What is your theme for the year? Theme for the year for you. By the way, if you didn't already hear, we're doing a wheel of the year, which means we're going to do month by month all the way through for you. But this is your overarching energy with a archetype from the Major Arcana. If you're new to tarot, you can read up. Oh, that one came right out the bottom, the Tower. Shock and surprise, awe, Scorpio energy, endings, beginnings, transformation, a lot of unexpected events. And it could very well be how you are able to navigate this for yourself. How do you navigate unexpected events? Are you able to shift with the ever-changing winds with a sort of grace? Do you have the ability to adapt? Are you versatile? That's kind of the question here with the Tower. The Tower isn't necessarily always about if things are negative. I know a lot of people think, oh my God, calamity when they see the Tower. However, at the same time, the Tower doesn't necessarily denote negative events. Just because they're unexpected doesn't necessarily mean that they're negative events. They could also be positive events, or they could be neutral events. It's more about your ability to adapt with the ever-changing tides and your ability to respond in kind. And also, while the tower is collapsing, how you are able to reestablish the structure from a firmer foundation. You know, sometimes change is necessary, and I think that that is the major lesson with this card, you know. And so it is massively about the versatility. The versatility is the big thing here. So, huge to know. We are using the Paulina Cassidy tarot for your main spread. And these have already been pre-shuffled, but we'll continue to shuffle through while we get your major theme for each of the months of November 2025 through to October 2026. However, at the same time, we will clarify using the Botticelli tarot for you. I'm not going to actually get into interpretations until we have drawn all of the cards and we go to clarify. So bear with me because I only take the flippers and the jumpers, a maximum of 3 twists for fairness for you here. Let's see what we have for you. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus through. And it's interesting because actually, before we get started, this is your zodiacal counterpart. Just had to say that there. So this is the tarot card that is building on your strengths, but also triggering your weaknesses and asking you to grow in those places. You know? Yeah. Okay, November 2025 for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. That was quick. We had another one that came out over here. 2 swords in the reverse with the Ace of Swords in the reverse. So there is a crossroads that you have reached where you're picking, crossroads that you have reached where you're picking a direction based on the learning that there is an untruth. Untrue by Coal Chamber. I've seen it before and I've seen it again. The blindfold has come off and you're choosing a direction. You're no longer standing in an impasse with the 2 of Swords. I'm not supposed to be reading these like that just yet. We'll talk about it in a second. Yeah, if there was ever like one of those cliffhangers. For December, we have the 7 of Cups in the upright. January, 2. Another 2. We have the Hermit and the 8 of Wands. Some communication energy there. December, January, February. 10 of Cups in the reverse. March, you're speaking a lot. You have the urge to be communicative. Page of Swords in the reverse. April 2026. They're coming out in 2s. You might be a part of a pair. You might have dualistic energies. If there's Gemini either in your chart or Gemini lurking into your energy. We have the 4 of Wands with the Queen of Cups in the upright for you in April 2026. May for Taurus. Okay, the 5 of Swords in the reverse. June. Yeah, they're coming out in 2s. The High Priestess with the Death card. Oh, okay. Heavy energy in May. No, June. That's June. Sorry, June. So July, Taurus. July for you. July. It was the glare. July. It was the glare. There was a glare somebody gave you. Sorry. I get these impressions, you know. Yeah. 1, What is that? Queen of Pentacles, the glare during July. It was the glare that somebody gave you. July. You keep echoing back to that glare. Sorry, my scrunchie's doing a thing. It was the glare that somebody gave you during July that's really bothering you. Capricorn energy on that. August. Okay. King Cups in the reverse. September. Hold on a sec. That one flew right off the desk. Okay, so one sec. August, we have the Queen of Wands in the reverse with the Page of Pentacles in the September. Queen of Wands in the reverse with the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. And then finally, October 2026. Okay, Seven of Wands in the reverse. Okay. Now, the nitty gritty, let's go ahead and let's clarify with you. We're going to use the Botticelli Tarot. I do pre-select the decks before I even shake the sign. This helps me with, you can't even see it all over there, the tarot tower there. I have a number of decks, very few oracle. It's very tarot heavy, because that's what I learned on was tarot. No oracle, very few oracle decks, but I did feel it would enrich each spread. So, but we're going to clarify using the Botticelli Tarot for you, and we're going to unpack each month just a little bit. So coffee, tea, scotch, wine, whatever you have on hand, a little bit of Coca-Cola, and then we're going to get started for you. So looking at November, we have here an Ace of Swords in the reverse with a Two of Swords in the reverse. The Admiral of Upside Down, I just heard. Admiral of Upside Down. So what we have is we have here a crossroads that you've reached. However, you have now chosen a direction. You've taken the blindfold off. You're no longer sitting there at that stalemate energy. You've now decided, based on the learning of the fact that it isn't a truth, it's almost as if you've learned this is no longer a lie. So because it's no longer a lie, well, you learned that there was dishonesty here with the Ace of Swords in the reverse. That you're going to move in another direction. And so let's see what that's about. What is this Ace of Swords in the reverse about? Let's see here. Four of Cups. So Four of Cups in the upright is normally about loss of interest, depressive energy. Somebody who isn't interested in Three Cups that have been extended to them, never mind the one that's been extended to them from the universe, but also it's about just a depressive energy where they have lack of interest. They're kind of, and it might be that somebody was kind of feigning that they were interested in something. And then at the last minute, it's like they just all of a sudden had to confess that they really weren't into something. Could be that that's what that dishonesty is about with the Ace of Swords. What else? We have a flipper here. And then we have the Judgment in the reverse. So somebody was not choosing a direction. They were attempting to forego making a decision. Aries, Sagittarian energy here. But the decision was nigh. The need to make the choice, make the decision, call it, was nigh for an individual. Yet at the same time, there was a lack of passion. This person didn't want to choose any direction. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong direction. Maybe I'm looking for any direction. I'm hearing here. However, at the same time, this person even though they need to make a choice and they're feeling pressured to do so, it's almost as if that's the answer. They chose a direction because they felt pressured to do so. However, they didn't feel like choosing any direction in the first place, so they just went with whatever. And now the trumpeters call. Now they're reaping what they've sown. Anything else in November for Taurus? I don't know what the nature of that is. There is a little bit of a passionate element, an inspirational element, as well as an emotional element attached to it. Let's see. Anything else for November for Taurus on this decision? Well, that came flying out. Four of Wands in the reverse. It lacked a firm foundation. It was shaky ground to start with. There was trepidation because it was a shaky foundation to start with. You ever see people, or maybe it's in video games, this is more prevalent, but I would say that it's more like imagery, I would say, is best here, because I'm seeing it in my head. It's almost as if somebody's trying to walk across the bridge that's got rickety ass boards and one of the ropes is frayed, but they're walking across it anyway, and they're really not into it, and they definitely don't feel as if it's something they could invest in, but they're making the decision anyway, and they're not really interested in it, but they've been forced to choose one of two different avenues. And now during November, you're seeing with that Two of Swords and the Ace of Swords, and maybe this is you, is that you were forced to choose one of two different directions, A or B. However, at the same time, you know that you're lying. You're lying to other individuals, or you're lying to yourself. The Ace of Swords in the reverse is the opposite of truth. Devoid of truth is a lie. So you're lying to yourself about which is the best direction to travel in. Perhaps you don't want to travel in any direction because none of them seem secure. However, at the same time, you feel forced to come up with a solution, or forced to voice your opinion. However, at the same time, nothing seems to have a firm foundation. Yeah. For December, we have the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is about options in the realms of the heart. Lately, I've been seeing manifestations of archetypes of the tarot, whether they be major arcana archetypes or minor arcana lessons. And with this one, the Seven of Cups, I always think back to Indiana Jones' Holy Grail. I was watching that one, and at the end, you know, the one guy, he drinks from the wrong cup, and he has all of these cups to choose from, and he drinks from it, and his fate smells off. and so this is the Seven of Cups, and then Indiana Jones drinks from this, you know, the homely little meek cup, and that's the one. That's the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is having 7 different emotionally fulfilling, or seemingly emotionally fulfilling options, yet at the same time, only one is the Holy Grail. And during December, it seems as if that's what you're encountering. I have one here. I can't take that because it's card vomit. Yeah, it's a choice in love, Gemini energy. It's about choosing oneself or choosing another, but it is a choice nonetheless. Tell me more. Tell me more. What is this choice? What is this choice in love in December for Taurus? Why during December? There's always so much other emotional stuff that you have to deal with, such as family, and more importantly, of paramount importance is family. It's actually kind of distracting, right? 2 Wands in reverse. Yeah, because you felt as if it was a pressing issue. It's almost as if you wanted to hold back and wait until after the holidays. However, you couldn't wait any longer. You were sitting on your hands until your hands were hot. Tell me more. Anything else? Anything else on this in December? It was something that you grew impatient over, or, sorry, You might have felt as if this other person was going to move on if you didn't. It's like a shit or get off the pot type of energy. It's almost as if you were feeling like if you didn't make a choice or give somebody an answer soon, they were going to move on. So where they were living in impatient energy, you then all of a sudden by osmosis ended up in the same type of energy and felt pressured to make a decision. Yeah, and you didn't want to risk something. You weren't necessarily feeling adventurous. Aries energy here. You would have you would have preferred to wait until Libra season to do this. You would have preferred to give it, almost a year to contemplate, to think about things a little bit longer. In fact, 9 months out, that would have been about like divorcee time if you were looking at filing for divorce during a December season. But at the same time, nobody's looking to get divorced during Christmas, right? Like that's the most cutthroat time to do something like that. But it seems as if somebody else was growing impatient, and therefore you felt pressured to make a move, right? And during January, we have the Hermit in the upright with the Eight of Wands, Virgo energy. Delving within the self, the cave of the self, in order to learn a deep personal truth. Something that is held close to one's chest that you're not speaking about with anybody else. It's an inner dialogue that once you gain that revelation, you cannot let it go. It's undeniable. And once that happens, there's communication that's attached to it, having these two together. The Eight of Wands being the communication. It could be digital communication because it is through the air, but it's very passionate. It's very fiery. It's inspired even. Tell us about that during January for Taurus. And we have the Knight of Cups. It's romantic. It's poetic. It's like knight in shining armor. Guy on the white horse. Very... musical, poetic, gentle, but it's something like moving, Tell me more. By the way, this would be Piscean energy. Watery, extremely watery. Tell me more. The Star, Aquarian. So this could be actually Pisces, Aquarian cusp individual that you're looking at directing this energy or this communication towards. With that being said, it's also very healing for you to be able to communicate this thought or these words that are extremely poetic and romanticized. It's a deep personal knowing that you've taken the time and really mulled over within yourself during January. I mean, as it goes, the new year is in and of itself a time of deep introspection. And so it goes without saying that would be something that you'd be doing, deep introspection. It's the start of a new year for every individual. So in the taking stock of your old year, you're emerging having learned something about yourself and you want to communicate it outwards. And in communicating outwards, you're talking about things that you've healed, but also about your thoughts, about your emotions. It's more about the emotions, but it's more about the thoughts from the heart, what originates from the heart. Tell me more. There's emotional intelligence attached to this, having done some healing work. Could also be about a deep-seated wish or goal that you have been looking off into the distance at for quite some time, blindly following. Yeah, you're taking the lead on it. It's got something to do with self-reliance and independence. It's as if you're, yeah, this is like, I'm taking the lead on it. I'm super independent. I'm self-reliant. I want this for myself. It's declarative, but then we have the Emperor attached to Aries energy, which is doubly declarative, excuse me, as well as adventurous and risk-taking, but dominant without being domineering. This is somebody who leads with a firm hand, an independent thinker, somebody who presides over their kingdom and understands their contribution to it, the value of others, but also their own self-value. The focus on the self is prevalent here. During February, there is a 10 of Cups in the reverse. I don't want you to get super discouraged by that. However, there is a 10 of Cups in the reverse, which does harken back to that 9 of Cups that we were just talking about. Or no, we were talking about the 9 of Pentacles. But it does harken back to self-worth. Recognizing one's self-worth. The 10 of Cups in the reverse does make us ask questions about re-examining the 9 of Cups. And in February, that's what you're doing. You're re-examining where your self-worth barometer is. What is your measurement on the self-worth barometer? Are you attaining your emotional and romantic wishes and goals, or are you kind of just floundering or treading water? There is emotional fulfillment that you're trying to seek, yet at the same time, you haven't reached the zenith of emotional fulfillment just yet during February. That happy family life hasn't happened for you just yet during February. That's card vomit. I can't take it. Let's talk some more about that. 10 of Cups in February for Taurus. Okay. So we have the 3 of Cups in the reverse. There may be gossip, naysayers, detractors, folks who are getting together and chatting, 3 sisters, 3 female individuals who are kind of talking shit about why you have not yet reached that zenith of emotional fulfillment for yourself. They never see you in a relationship. They never see you with somebody. It's February. It's Valentine's Day. How come that person's not going on a date? Well, you know, they don't have a boyfriend. They don't have a husband, blah, blah, blah. There must be something wrong with them. You know, that kind of shit. It's shit talking. It's normal. It's par for the course in that kind of stuff, in that kind of regard. But let's see what else we have there. It's shitty. It's the shitty reality of human nature, right? But let's see what else we have. So we had the Queen of Swords in the reverse. There's a deep-seated feeling of injustice here that's attached to the way people are chatting about your personal life, your love life. Why are other people so interested in gossiping about it? There's also there's a feeling of a lie or inequilibrium. Or it's as if there has been an injustice performed. Something was not true. It was untrue. Untrue. I've seen it before and I've seen it again. You've been untrue. You can't stop me. You know who I am. Yeah, it's like, although these people are talking shit about it, these 3 people are about it, at the same time, the cutting truth is that there is a lack of balance and equilibrium in the relationships that you engage in, and therefore you're unable to reach that height of emotional fulfillment that you so desire, that you so deserve, right? Everybody does, right? Tell me more. It's a cutting truth. It's a cutting truth. Yeah. You're not able to embody the full feminine of and you're not able to actually connect with the self. Empress energy in the reverse, Taurus, Libra energy. However, it's in the reverse. You can't connect with nature. You can't connect with your creative side. You're not able to connect with the nurturing mother energy, the maternal self. You know, all of these different sides, the different aspects of self are not being nurtured when you try to connect with another. And so therefore you've binned all of the connections that you have been in. So in February, it's almost as if this is a separate internal dialogue that you're having with yourself while you're arguing on your own about what people are saying about you, about why you're not in this awesome ass relationship during Valentine's Day, because this is February, of course. You're saying it's not fair. This is bullshit. Why are they saying this kind of stuff about me? Everything that I get into, nobody is willing to nurture that part of me that is feminine, the feminine aspect. Nobody is willing to nurture that part of me that is creative. Nobody is willing to nurture that part of me that is maternal, that maternal instinct, that mothering instinct, that female instinct, that creative instinct, that earth mother instinct, the person who is Dionysus. You know? I see. This is also a harbinger, a warning for you during February with the emergence of the Empress in the reverse, for you to find some way to ground, center, connect with nature in some regard. Get yourself a houseplant. Connect with animals. Create, whether it be visual, audio, material arts, something that's going to help you become creative and manifest something in the real world out of the intellectual world, so that you can see the fruits of your labor, much like the maternal instinct would do. It will help you to embody that energy, that archetype of the Empress, right? So it's like your life during February is devoid of that. Normally you would seek a partner to help either inspire that or help you create that in the real world. And because you haven't found that masculine counterpart to help you do that, everybody else is talking about why that is and what a mystery it is and how weird it is. Yet at the same time, you see that there's a lack of balance and you acknowledge that there's an equilibrium. And you're saying here is why. Got it? Yeah. We're so psychological tonight. March for you, we have the Page of Swords in the reverse with the Queen of Cups in the upright. So during March, you're getting more into your feels. We have the intuitive. You're connecting with your Cancerian energy, the ever-changing tides of the moon, that which is hidden. However, you're also embracing that side of yourself that is giving of your heart space, yet also understands when to put the lid on the cup and protect the heart space. You're discerning. There is discernment here over your emotional energy. And with that, we have the Page of Swords in the reverse. It's almost like we're saying here, willful blindness, willful ignorance. I now choose to be discerning with my emotional energy because I am choosing not to look at things. You know, when you're in a car and you're driving, they always talk about don't look where you don't want to go. And I think this is exactly what March is saying for you, Taurus. It's saying to you that you're not looking where you don't want to go. Page of Swords in the reverse is saying, I don't want to learn something. Therefore, I am exercising willful ignorance. I'm deciding not to learn something. I'm deciding not to look at something. I'm deciding not to examine something further for the purposes of learning because I just don't want to know it. And that's okay, especially in realms of the heart where we need to protect our heart space or we need to preserve the energy, our emotional energy for things that are better served elsewhere, right? Tell me more about this during March for you, Taurus. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Eight of Swords in the reverse. Yeah, you're freeing yourself from a mental prison. It's almost as if this has been your downfall in the past. You've looked where you didn't want to go. You've looked at things that you didn't necessarily want to see. And you became either emotionally attached to them, or you gave more of your heart space than you should have, or you became obsessed or thought that you were intuitively doing something or feeling something that really was not intuition, it was anxiety. Tell me more. Yeah, Six of Wands in the reverse. It ended up in defeat. It was your defeat. It was your downfall. Six of Wands in the upright is normally riding into town with the victory banners, the triumph banners, flying high after a battle. However, excuse me, in the reverse, this is defeat. It's feeling as if you have to cower away instead of performing. And with that anxiety factor, and with feeling as if you were chained to something that was not actually serving your highest good, because you were looking at it and it wasn't something that was best for you emotionally. You're preserving your heart space now. You're protecting your heart space. You're exercising emotional discernment during March. That's good. During April, we have the Four of Wands in the upright. That's good. So now after March, you're starting to rebuild firm foundations for yourself within your home space, with your ideas, with your inspiration, creativity. You could be working on something and observing the building blocks of something of promise, but doing so from a methodical and strategic point of view, I'm hearing, which is interesting because I don't normally encounter this from such a cerebral headspace. So April, what do we have? That's a lot. We did have this one that's stuck. Three of Swords is based off of heartbreak. You could be encountering this as either one of those lashback type of rebound type energies where it's like now you want to be productive because you were in a space of pain and heartbreak. Or during April, there is a heartbreak that triggers you to go foundations first on something, whether it be an idea or the home space in and of itself. Let's see what else we have here. Tell me more. Tell me about the Three of Swords. Everybody always wants to know the goods, so tell me about the Three of Swords. What is this Three of Swords for a Taurus? Temperance. Sagittarian energy, patience, time, waiting, healing. You're healing something that took a great deal of time. Could have to do with a Sagittarian individual. However, it could also have to do with long distance travel or higher education. Could be regret from the past after not engaging in higher education or spirituality. However, I'm feeling more that it's as if you have taken the time to heal from heartbreak. And now you are starting foundations first on building blocks towards something of a creative project, something within your home. But it's very methodical. I don't know why I'm getting that here. There's a lot of air, even though it's fiery. And it's fuel for you. The healing is fuel for you. It's interesting because I did say there was a lot of air. There's fuel to the fire for you to make something that is solid, either for yourself or for your home or for your legacy in this during April. During May, we have the Five of Swords in reverse. This is coming out of self-deceptive energy. No longer fooling yourself about something. There's something that you're no longer lying to yourself about. And that's way the fuck too many cards. It's like half. It's too many cards. We can't do that. What is the self-deceptive energy during May for Taurus? Tell us. What is it? Oh, we had some that stuck. I'm taking them. This is a story. There was a standstill with the wheel in the reverse. And then impulsive action forward with Gemini, Knight of Swords in the upright. As a means to an end, trying to mitigate, not realizing our deep-seated wishes from the past with the Six of Cups in the reverse. You're trying to build a legacy. And it's almost as if you're saying to yourself, don't you see what I'm trying to build here? Don't you see this gold path that I'm trying to lay towards something that exists far after I do? We start out here. This is coming out of the self-deceptive energy during May. No longer lying to yourself about what is and isn't working with that wheel in the standstill position in the reverse. Seeing that it's ground to a halt. There is no longer any forward momentum, no longer any forward movement. The guy who's normally in the downfall position is now at the top of the wheel. There is something that is ground to a standstill or is no longer moving forward for you. It does have to do with a knee-jerk reaction and impulsivity on either your or somebody else's part, Gemini energy. I would say that this is actually happening as a result of this card emerging here, being something that's happening during the latter half of April, moving into May. And I would even say that it's upcoming, that you're encountering the self-deceptive energy of the standstill, and it's going to last into Gemini season, which would be mid-May through to mid-June. But this is also a warning about being this irresponsible guy who's riding around on that horse, lopping people's heads off with that sword. Don't be that guy, you know. Be careful, careful forethought is required, and this is the warning card of making sure that you're aware that Quicksilver energy is not going to result in reward. This is knee-jerk reaction following standstill with the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse preceding it. And it's because you realize that those deep-seated wishes from childhood, that nostalgic feeling from the past is no longer present. It's almost as if this is irrevocably lost with the Six of Cups in the reverse. Those things that you once wished for are no longer within reach. And so that standstill energy triggers that knee-jerk reaction of impulsivity and irresponsible action forward, rapid as it may be, and very reactive in that Knight of Swords. It's all in pursuit of something bigger than the Six of Cups, though, which you haven't yet acknowledged. It's almost as if you have a lot of water in your chart. It's almost as if you're operating a lot in here from your heart space. Yet at the same time, we keep having this earthen flavor that you're pointing towards legacy. Your compass is pointing towards an understanding that you must, at the end of your life, have achieved something where you will have outlived your name. It's like they talk about the two deaths, the time that your name is spoken last and the time that the time that you die and then the time that your name is spoken last. This is something that lives far longer than you do. And you're attempting to achieve that. Yet it's almost as if you've shipped these two together. Like your deep-seated childhood wishes are attached to your legacy. Whereas how would you be able to know as a 12-year-old what your wishes as a man or woman would be in the future for yourself and your long-term vision would be. You absolutely could not. And so looking back at the past and being all nostalgic about it and freaking out and, reaching back all, desperately for something because all of a sudden you have a reverse in fortune, that's not going to work, And you're realizing the self-deception during May that's involved in that. And that, the forward movement is not associated with looking back at the past, right? Thank you. That's exactly it. Jesus. During June, we have here the High Priestess in the upright with the Death card in the upright. So we have Piscean energy with Scorpionic energy. So we have secrets and intuitive energy. Things are lurking beneath the surface, linked to transformation and endings, beginnings that are following endings. And these could be literal or they could be figurative. Most of the time they're figurative. However, there is something linked to the occult and the esoteric here. Piscean energy as well as Scorpionic energy. I think I already said that. I'm pretty sure I did. Tell me more. Jesus, during June. 10 of Cups. This has to do with the zenith of your emotional fulfillment. This has to do with the deepest connection that you could achieve in this life, whether it be with your friends, your family, your lover, and the Seven of Pentacles, and where you did not, it's regret. It's regret. There are secrets, and intuitively, while something is ending and transforming. You can see here that you are reaching the height of emotional fulfillment in your connections, yet you regret where you did not invest more. The seeds that weren't sown, you can still see the potential of the seeds that weren't sown and what plants they would actually become. The fruit that would be available to you if you would have nurtured those seeds when they were young. Tell me more. It's regretful energy. Tell me. Yeah, moon. It's self-deception at its finest here. This is all stuff. You could be dreaming about this. I hate to say this, but during June, you could be suffering a loss that has you suffering nightmares, sleepless nights, deception, confusion, the unspoken, sleeping side of 10. Cancerian energy, this is happening during the latter half of June. And it's deeply emotional. These are the dark sides. This is the dark part of the upstairs. This is the stuff that you keep hidden that you dare not speak about. And intuitively, these are the things that you keep secret. The things that you wish to transform. About regret. Your fears. The moon is also fear. The things that you wish that you would have changed and transformed and put more effort into. However, you didn't. And now it must be too late. During June, you're going to be taking stock of those things. These are the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Yeah. Okay. In July, we have the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Pentacles in the upright. Capricorn energy. The Queen of Pentacles in the upright is Capricorn feminine in its finest. This is the feminine Capricorn that is ambitious, determined, climbs to the heights of career success, but also, with that being said, is the master of creating a home from a house. lights the scented candles, turns on the music, puts the fabrics on the furniture to make this an inviting space as opposed to just a house, just four walls. Finery, luxury. But more than that, it's about achievement during July. Tell me more. Hard work, time, the time that it takes to achieve hard work through lessons and the meaning of those lessons. We have this with the King of Cups in the reverse. So the protection of the heart space, and not necessarily protecting the heart space, not following one's intuition. Scorpionic energy in the reverse. So timing wise, we'd be looking at Taurus season, something back in Taurus season about this Capricorn. This individual not following their intuition during July. Tell me more. I hate core cards. They're hardest to read. Tell me more. Okay. And we have the Knight of Wands, Sagittarian energy. We call this the Fire Pony. This is, well, a Tarot Mike or whatever his name is. He calls this the Fire Pony. It's Sagittarian energy. It's passionate, inspired, creative, forward momentum, riding towards something, taking action towards something, fervent, very beautiful, passionate, declarative energy. You see how he is holding his wand in front of him as if to declare that he is passionate towards something, that he desires something. What else? Tell me what it is. Not protecting the heart space, being declarative and taking that fervent action forward. Towards what? Towards what? Taurus. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. What do we have in July? Yeah, there's determination attached to this. I will warn with that Capricorn energy that there is also obsession attached to that and excess attached to that if it's not nurtured appropriately. Tell me more. Tell me more. What do we have? Okay. 5 of Wands. Conflict. Passionate action towards conflict. Passionate, inspired action towards conflict. This guy is riding in towards conflict. He is guns ablazing towards a battle. With the Capricorn underneath it. What is the battle? What is the battle over? What is the fight about? Four of Swords, healing. Meditative energy, rest, rejuvenation, following the Three of Swords, rather. Following the heartbreak. He's coming in to fight the Sagittarian Knight of Wands energy. That declarative energy is coming in and riding in towards conflict. To fight about healing. To fight about meditative energy. To fight about relaxation. It's almost as if he's fighting for his right to relax instead of party. What? That's not how that song goes, but that's it. During July, somebody's feeling as if they have to passionately declare that to the point of argument, that they need time to relax and meditate and think about something very clearly. Because they are ambitious and determined to make their home space a home and not a house. During August, it's funny that we have this in July. We have the King of Cups clarifying all of that, because in August we have the King of Cups as the major theme. So let's see, Scorpionic energy with that King of Cups, protecting the heart space and understanding when to yield from the heart space, but also to give from the heart space. He presides over that so well that you would never know his feelings because he's so private with them, right? He doesn't speak on them either. You just know by the way it feels when he's giving of them. It's an intuitive thing with that. Scorpionic energy. Tell me more during August of 2026. I can't even believe we're saying 2026. Tell me more. For Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. This one's going on a little bit longer than Libra's read. I like that we're doing like Libra and then Taurus, because that's my South Node and North Node. Libra is my South. Taurus is my North. That's great. Tell me more. August. Tell me the lesson in August. Truth. This in August is about truth. Somebody is holding back their emotions because they're seeking truth. It's almost as if during August you are holding back your emotions and connecting with other people on an emotional level because you understand your truth and you understand who is being truthful with you, and you will not settle for anything less. That's that discernment coming in again. The emotional discernment of the King and Queen of Cups, right? Tell me more. What do we got? Okay, I'll land her right on it. Yeah. The need for gratitude. It's almost as if there is woe for the past. It's almost as if you don't know what you got till it's gone happening here. And you recognize that right now, well, not right now, but in August, the connections that you have during August, you're seeking a truth. You're seeking a certain level of honesty in your connections. And you're not providing the give and take in your connections. You're not syncing up with people because you understand what truth in those connections feels like. And it's because of connections that you've had in the past that are no longer available to you with that Five of Cups. The milk has spilled, and you're lamenting the milk that is spilled rather than recognizing what you have before you. It's almost as if you wish you could still have what was spilled from those two cups, and you don't care for what's in those three cups, because what's in those three cups doesn't seem nearly as good nor nearly as honest or truthful to you during August there. And you're holding, you're holding the people in August 26 to the same standards that you would those other folks that you had that truth with, that Ace of Swords with. But maybe they can't be held to the same standards. Maybe they're not capable of the same standards. I do know a Taurus individual who always used to say, maybe somebody else is mediocre, or maybe your mediocre is somebody else's best. And that stuck with me forever, and I've used it with my staff. And seriously, maybe, I'm just going to hold these up here so you can see it. I love when cards read a story. Maybe somebody else's maybe your mediocre or another person's mediocre is the other person's best. And that's what this is kind of saying here. I will not give somebody my heart space ever again until they meet such and such standards and such truth. And I'm going to continue to look back, lamenting at these 2 cups of the spelt over. But these people in these 3 cups, their mediocre is the past's best. Or no, I mean, the past's mediocre is their best. Do you know? And so you're holding people to an impossible standard because you held other people in such high esteem, right? Maybe your mediocre is somebody else's best. And maybe these other people's mediocre is this new person's best during August, right? You have to think about that. Do not measure other people to different people's standards, because everybody is an individual, you know? Each individual is an individual and should be treated accordingly, yeah? Okay, so 7 of Wands. Yeah, and it puts you on the defense. You feel defensive. It could actually conversely be that this other individual during August is feeling defensive because you're holding them to impossible standards for their capabilities. You're saying, well, this person that I used to know was like this and this and this, and they were so great, and they're like, well, I'm never going to be like that. That's what I mean. You know, you cannot hold people to the same standards as other individuals, because potentially that individual from the past, their mediocre is this new person's fucking bending over backwards. Pardon my French. You know? So ease up a little during August, because I feel like this person is like about to peace out with that defensive energy. They're looking a little battle worn, you know? They're like, Jesus Christ. How much more? You mean they did that? Yeah. And you know, like, there's options. They have options. You have options. Everybody has options. And maybe they're going to start to evaluate whether or not, if you're constantly, if you're sitting in comparative energy consistently, then they might as well go elsewhere, move elsewhere, where they don't necessarily always have to sit in this defensive 7 of Wands, and they can move off elsewhere where maybe they are the Holy Grail with that 7 of Cups there. You know, if you're always going to think I'm mediocre, then why not move on to where I can be somebody's best? You know? Yeah. I didn't even mean to pull that extra one. So during September, we have the Page of Pentacles in the reverse with the Queen of Wands in the reverse. Normally, I don't like to read this as the other woman, so I'm not going to do that. Queen of Wands in reverse is normally a Aries individual, woman, feminine energy. I don't like to genderize these things, but it's feminine Aries energy. Passionate to the point of poison, irrational, angers easily, somebody who is very domineering as opposed to dominant. Sure, they could be leader, but they might be Miss Bossy Pants, judgy. And attached to that, we have the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. Not very giving. Somebody who doesn't really make you feel worthy. Somebody who is condescending, in fact, with this combination right here. Condescending, feminine, Aries individual who looks down on others. Who, instead of building people up to realize their potential and understand their worth, makes them feel as if they are not worthy. Page of Pentacles in the reverse is also separately about not receiving a gift that you were expecting, or not receiving praise about your self-worth. Also could be about not receiving a contract or offer, although albeit small, not receiving that offer or communication message or communication about an offer. a timepiece, peace offering of some sort. Tell me more during September for you, Taurus. Three of Wands in the reverse, yeah. You're not waiting on it anyway. You kind of half expected this was going to be the case because of the communication from the Queen of Wands. You kind of knew because of the way that the communication was coming across. It was very condescending, very unruly, very fiery, but not in a positive way. It wasn't warm and nurturing. It was rather negative and scorching. Oh, that's too many. Tell me more. That's too many. That's too many. There's something about the phrase, that's too many. It's almost as if this person's judgmental. They're always saying you're too much. That's too many. Then. Like they always have something to say about what you're doing that's rather criticizing, but it's not constructive criticism. Nothing's ever good enough. Tell me more. September. And Three of Pentacles. You're looking for, there is another offer on all of this on its heels. Could also be the connection with another individual, or it could be an invitation for you to focus your energy on uniting the aspects of self, such as a body, mind, and spirit. So they're in perfect symphony. Or just establishing equilibrium within the self, but also reaching out to others to make some sort of alliance or a trio of sorts so that you can have some type of offer in the future. It's almost coming off of the heels of this. It's like I didn't get that one offer, but there's a new one happening, and it's with people I actually like working with and I collaborate well with. We're a trio, that type of thing. Tell me more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What else in September? You got a lot of work stuff here. A lot of heart stuff and a lot of work stuff. A lot of water, a lot of earth. Oh, I have a flipper. I haven't had a lot of flippers. Everything's been jumping for you. Yeah, it's a passionate, creative endeavor with the Ace of Wands in the upright with the Two of Swords. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong direction. Maybe I'm looking for any direction. You see? The Two of Swords in the reverse. You were stuck at a standstill. You took your blindfold off. You realized what a condescending bitch this Queen of Wands was. And you decided to take the other direction when you hit that fork in the road. And as a result, you hit that matchstick of the divine. That that Ace of Wands is an idea. It's inspiration. It's you striking the match and starting something new. It's initiation at its finest. It's something bright and inspiring, and it's embarking on a new creative and passionate journey. Nice. Perfect. It's almost like, the arrow ricocheting off one shitty thing into a totally new trajectory. That's what it seems like. Awesome. Okay. So finally, for October, we have the Seven of Wands in the reverse. As a result of all this, I feel like this is pretty interesting that we landed here, the Seven of Wands in the reverse, letting your guard down. Finally, no longer being defensive. No longer being defensive. Dropping your guard. You don't feel like lynch mob is coming after you. You can ease up on yourself. You can relax a little. Why? During October 26th for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. What do we have? What do we have? Taurus. Well, we got a flipper and a couple jumpers. We got a magician. You're manifesting something. Mastering the self in order to master the elements. Gemini, Virgo energy. Definitely going to be during... Probably going to be something that you have been working on that bleeds into the Libra season. Okay, so from early September. Definitely, you have double Virgo energy there with a Knight of Pentacles. Strategic, methodical thinking. It's going to be a mid-September thing. Check this out. Check this out. And it's going to be all about balance with the Justice card there. Look. Justice, equilibrium, fairness, equality. You're no longer on guard because you feel as if you've moved into a space after moving strategically, methodically, mastering the self in order to master the elements, which means getting a hold of yourself and understanding where to exercise discretion, where to give of yourself, where to share and where not to overshare, and then moving into a space of equilibrium and equity. It's strategic, methodical thinking and movement. Slow. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving deck. He's almost like a stop motion guy. He goes, nah, 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 nah. You know, he does that because that's how he moves towards his goals, is in a very, he exercises careful forethought in moving towards his goals in an effort to preserve both his self-esteem and the esteem of others, because he wants things to be equal and fair, but also so that things are on the up and up. And he wants things to become something magical. He wants to create something with a magician there. I almost feel like it's something that you want to create that is out of thin air, like artists do. They create something that didn't exist in the real world. It's not like, you know, some artists, they will take, yarn and they'll make it into a quilt. But there are other artists who take what's in here and they create music, or what's in here and they create poetry, or that what's in here and they create books, or they take what's in here and they create paintings or drawings, or, you know, even, you know, you could take this into even the realms of politics and all sorts of different things where people take intellect and ideas and communication and a lot of different things, and they create something out of nothing. That's what the magician does, but it's only after he has mastered the self, understands how to exercise discretion, understands how to hold back from his primitive urges, whether they be passion, whether they be, you know, anger, whether they be happiness, whatever it is, like overexertion, whatever it is, it's something that they are controlling. It's exercising self-control in order to be able to control that which surrounds us and create something that has the ability to transform lives, right? So that's what's happening during, and actually it's because it's attached to the Justice card. It's got to do with balance, equilibrium, fairness, and truth. You know, that's a big deal coming into October and being a part of October, because that's into the sun. That's ruled by the sun at that point of the year, is Libra energy. So that's what I've got for you. Blah, blah. Let's look at your magnetic poetry. We're just about done. Just about done. For Taurus, any messages in the magnetic poetry for you? Very few. Very few. Oh, those are stuck together. Okay, very few words. You might want to jot those down while you got a chance. And let's go ahead and let's get your oracle message before we hit your numbers and any signs of significance for you. So, no bullshit oracle, the rebel deck. There are swear words. I don't think I swore a whole lot in this one, which is pretty formidable for me. I don't know. Normally, I drop a few F-bombs. It's just who I am. Sorry. Okay. For Taurus, any advice? Any advice? That was easy and fast. Okay, you do you. Stop trying to change people. That shit never works. Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's truth right there. All right. And signs of significance as well as numbers for you. Let's shake them all at once. Because I have to pee. Okay, so signs of significance, we have Sagittarius, Taurus, that's you. Cancer and Cancer, double Cancer. Numbers are going to be 3, 10, breaking down to a 1, which is endings and beginnings, a 1, and a 6. That's what I have for you. Please do this if you actually watch the whole thing. And subscribe if you wish to see the monthlies, which we'll be picking back up during November. And we'll see you when we see you next. Happy Halloween. Bye. Oh my God. And people wonder how I even do this. Look at this mess. It is a wheel, I promise you. It's just because we clarified and did all the things afterwards. Okay. Bye.